Can you guys hear me? Welcome in, everybody. I'm guessing everybody can hear me. It's saying my mic is unplugged, but I feel like it's not. Information here. Hey, All-Star race. All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. This is awesome. I'm super excited for the race. Man, let me tell you how unprepared I am for this. I forgot to bring a drink for the pre-race poll. So, let me go get a cocktail real quick so I can actually take a pull. All right, I'm back. Connor, what's going on? You guys can hear me, right? Everyone can hear me? No bourbon. It's early here. It's 1:30. I have had a couple cocktails though. Wifey and I went and grabbed a little drink at Culinary Dropout. So happy race day, North Wilkesboro. Boy, we didn't see this coming. Man. All right. Well, before we get going, I got a lot of opinions. I think. I think I have a lot of opinions, but I'm not quite sure. But before we get going, first things first. Hey, happy race day. Collective Clink. Good luck. Taking a pull. All right, let's get into it. I'm going to go over the Open first, but briefly, and then go over the All-Star race here. All right, let me pull up some stuff. All right. The Open. Well, I'll tell you what, last night really sucked. I thought last night kind of sucked. I guess for race fans, it's like, hey, we had a good chance to take a look at what these rain tires will look like. Okay, great. I'm happy with that. I get it. It's a non-points paying race, so perfect. I'm okay with that. But man, the conditions seemed like it was right for slicks. Man, I wish we were gonna get more information. Selfishly as a bettor, I wanted to have more information coming in today. I wanted to know who was good, kinda short and long run, with the limited 60 laps that we had to look at it. However, we didn't get that. I don't even know what we got. Little concerned about the night racing versus the way things looked in practice. Yeah, Hunter, I kind of agree last night was kinda stupid, but let's try to be optimistic. We had a chance to look at rain tires. The rain tires had more grip than slicks. I don't know. I don't know. So let's just get into it. Okay, Ty Gibbs starting first. Ty looked decent in practice. Like, Ty looked by far the best in practice. Now, can he conserve his stuff? I don't know. Like, Ty to advance, I feel like it's such a good bet, but who knows? I think Ty wins. I think Ty wins. I think that if yesterday was any indication, I think this is gonna be more track position dependent than we thought, in my opinion. So, man, he was decent in practice, but man, he was decent, as in he didn't have a ton of fall off. He didn't have a ton of short run speed, but he was decent. Well, 4-1 on DK. That's actually a good price. Like that's worth a nibble. I feel like if you want some interest in the race, he was. I mean, and it's still track position dependent. Like they're gonna have probably one stop. They're gonna tie over Barry. Here's what we don't know. So Barry was decent on his second run out there in practice. More fall off than it's down to 2-1. Yeah, see, Hunter, you cannot give me prices that aren't available. That's a bogey for you. You get 3 bogeys, and then you're out, Hunter. So, don't give me prices that used to exist. Thoughts over Barry. Here's the thing with Barry. He races better than he practices. Josh was decent in practice. He wasn't great. But he might figure something out. I think he's such a talented driver that I do think that Josh Berry could kind of figure something out. I don't know that I want to lay a price. There's so many unknowns right now. Like I'm like nervous with my hands. I'm a little apprehensive to go take a side on anything just because last night we did not get the indication that I thought we are gonna. If we're just gonna go off of practice, I would say, yeah, I like Ty over Barry. But what's gonna happen over the long run? Like, if we're gonna have that competition caution at or around that 40 in the open. I mean, that last 60 laps is the big difference. Those last 20 laps are gonna be huge for a fall off, especially on slicks. So, um and the other thing too, yeah, I do agree with that, Hunter. But in the same so what Hunter is saying is Barry won't move Gibbs if they're running 1-2. Yes, I completely agree. What happens if Barry beats Gibbs off pit road? Then does Gibbs move Barry? I mean, Barry's not a teammate, so I would imagine that Gibbs won't move him. Um, I don't know. I just think that you're kind of playing with fire a little bit there. Although, I mean, obviously, I do lean Ty, but who knows? Barry, I think it's going to be decent. LaJoy, I don't think LaJoy was that good. He was all right. I don't know. I mean, I think just when it comes to this open, it's Gibbs and Barry, and then does someone like Michael McDowell maybe have a good long run car? Maybe a Ryan Priest? I just didn't see it in practice. Eric Almirola is the interesting one. Um, Eric Almirola is interesting. I think that I just don't think he's properly priced. I mean, what are we seeing him like plus 450? On a track dependent course, he's going to start or track. He's going to start. Inside of row five. Man, that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. In the first 40 laps, I mean, we'll know after 40 laps, like, who's good, at least in the short run, and then what happens on that longer run, and then if we get a bunch of cautions, I can't imagine there's gonna be a lot of shuffling up in the field. Everyone's gonna choose the bottom. It looked like yesterday in the truck race, like, if you weren't on the bottom, it was trouble. So, I do expect guys to pick the bottom all day long, and or even play games up front like they kinda do at Martinsville and Bristol. I think that you could see a little bit of that, but ultimately, if there's any other questions about the Open, I'd rather just get to the All-Star race. Are there any bets? Does anyone know of any to advance into the All-Star race that includes the fan vote? Are there any sports books where it includes the fan vote? Because I know that a couple of them exclude the fan vote. So I was just curious if there's any that the fan vote is included on that. So if you have that, let me know in the comments here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna get going on Daniel Suarez here. Um, your local has no fan vote. Um, Gibbs over Almirola. I'll say this: Almirola good, look better in the long run. But does he get there? I mean, and does he use up his stuff to get there? Yeah, he probably does. Yeah. I like betting things where I feel very certain, and I just don't feel very certain about this. So, I'm not playing anything in the open. If I had if the fictitious price that Hunter gave out, which was his strike one for the day, if that were around at 4, that might be worth a nibble, but I don't think but that was also before I think, Hunter, you grabbed that before the pit stall challenge, maybe. I don't know, I can't remember. Either way, let's move on to the Open or the All-Star race. Daniel Suarez, um, nothing special in practice, not really nothing special. Went out there and did really well last night. I think the only really pass all day we saw, kinda for the lead was just Suarez, and I think that was more because, um, Chase was leading and struggling a little bit. I just think listen, I think that if if Suarez can kinda keep control of the race, he'll be good. Otherwise, I don't know. Chris Buescher, no real competition for him at all. He was good. I just can't see these guys staying up front. I don't know who's good on the long I mean, I know based on practice, but that certainly didn't matter last night. So, are we attributing that to the tires, or are we attributing that to nighttime? There's what I don't know. If someone has the answer to that question, do we attribute last night's lack of passing or, um, I guess, lack of passing and I don't know, poor race quality? Do we attribute that to the rain tires, or do we attribute that to nighttime racing where we practice during the day and now we race at night and then everything's completely different? There's just more grip, it's harder to pass. I don't know. I That has me a little concerned because, man, looking at practice times, like, awesome, we have fall off, we're gonna see a ton of passing, there's gonna be comers and goers, and then all of a sudden, we don't get that at all. And I know we had the different tire and there's no skew in those or whatever. I understand all that. Um, I just don't know how important that is. So, if someone knows, keep me posted. Okay, so moving on to Chris Buescher. Yeah, Chris Buescher, he was pretty good in practice. Like, I do think his car was good, short run and long run, um, but not crazy good, I guess. I guess good for Buescher. Um, I would say Buescher was better than Suarez if I had to choose. That's a good question. I would say that. Gilly had good long run car matchups against AJ and McDowell, not great. Yeah, let's see. I'll answer this Gilliland question here. He had he he did a long run. I'll give you that, Connor. He did a long run. I don't know that he was great in his long run, but he did one, which I think is important to understand where the car is going. I like I said, I'm not gonna bet anything on the Open. I do have a couple outrights for the All-Star race, but, I'm kind of gonna wait till live. I think that's gonna be better. Um, Joey Logano looked to be holding up the field last night. So it seemed like, if you don't want someone to pass here, you can make their life hell by doing that. So, um, you look at his lap times in practice, a little bit of fall off. That's been pretty standard with kind of that team the whole year. Not great, but if they get up front, um, yeah, yeah. I'm not high on Logano at all. I think he looked the worst of the guys that ended up qualifying well, if that makes sense. Kyle says, "Do you think no passing was more so they didn't want to beat up their cars? I expect more contact tonight." Yeah, absolutely. I think there'll be certainly more contact tonight. I think it's a good point to bring it up. You know, you don't want to move a guy in a heat race. I get it. That makes sense. Austin Dillon. Now he raced pretty well last night, but everyone that kind of just kind of started up front just kind of raced well. So Austin Dillon, he was decent in the middle of a longer run, but then just kind of fell off towards the back of it. And then the adjustments they made in practice, I don't think were great. Um, like, yeah, Chastain over Logano. Ooh, what's your price there? What's your price there, Kim? Because that matters. I do think Chastain is good. I'm gonna get to Chastain. I'll get to everybody, and then I'll answer that question because I think it's a decent question. Austin Dillon, I think if he just kinda maintains track position, he'll be fine, but if any of these guys just kinda hit a limit, like yesterday, Corey Heim in the truck race, he hit a limit, and all of a sudden, he was trash. Like, it was like, okay, he got to 35 laps, and then he struggled for a run. So, there's one of these moments where it's all of a sudden you start to wear down whether it's your right front or your right rear, and all of a sudden, that's gone. You can't do anything. You're just a sitting duck, and all of a sudden, if you end up on that outside row, you are in deep trouble. Man, I do like Chastain as a dog, but he's starting so deep. We'll revisit this here, Kim. Um, I don't know. So that's kind of how I feel. If Austin Dillon all of a sudden starts to struggle, it's going to be just a straight to the back, But that's with every guy. Chase Briscoe, I like Chase. Chase looked good in practice. Chase looked good yesterday. I think I think Chase is going to be good. I don't know. I haven't really looked too much at matchup or prices this morning, just because I didn't want to. I didn't think that I learned much last night. And do I use last night? Okay, so I want to see in the comments. In the comments, are you using last night or practice for an indication to predict the race here? Like last night or practice? I just want to see in the comments. What do you think is more important? Because Chase was really good in practice. I mean, his first run, he had a lot of fall off, but I think they made some changes and he was pretty good. I like Chase Briscoe this weekend, and I haven't said that at all. Like, that's not something I've said at all this year. So, I think he's gonna hang around, and it looks like he has a good car. And when he's got some confidence, yeah, practice and laps with slicks. Yeah, practice, practice, practice. Yeah, I think so too. But we don't know for sure, and that's what's so hard, as someone that, I hate losing a bet, So I don't even wanna play the value game tonight. The only thing I wanna play is, like, if I truly think the car is better and can recover from a penalty or can recover if they have to go to the rear. Um, yeah, I don't know. I agree. I agree on practice, everybody. William Byron, I don't know. William Byron, he practiced well. Nothing spectacular. Even the changes they made to his race car, and he went back out there, they were good. He wasn't great. William Byron wasn't great, but you know what? William Byron is doing such a good job. of getting good finishes, and I talked about this in the podcast, the Stay Green podcast with Beth the Board and Todd Furman. Last year, we saw Chase Elliott not be the fastest car in a lot of races, and he still won 4 times. He just was there. They just managed races, and you know what? William Byron wasn't the fastest car last week. He wasn't even top 4. Like, I could list 4 or 5 drivers I thought were faster than him easily, but he was there at the end, and you know what? There's something to be said for these guys, like, you can throw, Larson and Chastain in this mix where they are so aggressive or they're trying to make something happen to go win these races that they end up taking themselves out. I mean, Ross Chastain has only won 1 time on an oval, and that was Talladega, and he's only, won one other race when he punted. Now, he was really good. It was a big payday for Uncle Wormy here, so not hating on Rossi, but he has not put himself in a position to win because he's so damn aggressive the whole race. He has no friends when he gets up there. So on the final restart, they're sitting and saying, "Well, I don't care who wins, but he's not winning." And I think that Rick Hendrick calling that out was kind of important. So William Byron has just done a great job of just, "Hey, I'm not the fastest car, every week." Now he's close to the fastest car, but he's getting great finishes. And you know what? All of a sudden the seas kind of part for him and he goes on and he has to restart late with Kevin Harvick with a damaged car. Like, that's nothing. Like, you put Rory in there and he would go ahead and win that race. So I like William Byron. He's just going to hang around. I don't think he's going to be good or bad. I have nothing on him or against him. Chris Bell. Well, Chris Bell looked good last night. And man, if there's a guy that's just figures stuff out really well, it's him. I like Chris Bell. I don't even care how Chris Bell practices anymore. He did practice pretty well. Like, he had a good long run. Um, he made some good adjustments, had some decent and then had a decent long run to kind of finish it up. I think that Bell, he's got a decent price attached to him too. I agree, Hunter. I think Bell's pretty sporty. If you were looking at someone outright, I think you can get him over 10-1 a few places. But I think he's going to be good. But there better be some damn passing before him for him to win, right? I mean, he's gonna be starting in the 4th row, inside of row 4. Like, you better be able to pass. Um, so, um oh, yeah, he's not 10-1, below 10-1 now? Okay, well, I know he was 10-1 at some point this morning. I don't have the current odds up in front of me, but I like Chris Bell. Brad Keselowski's another guy I like. You don't need to have a ton of speed in your race car to be fast here, and when that's the case, Brad Keselowski's gonna be good. Um, I think Brad's decent. Let me pull up this. I think Brad's gonna be decent. I really do. Now, can you pass? I don't know. I mean, his teammate went out there and was really, really good in the heat races, so I expect him to be good as well. Denny Hamlin. Oh, Denny. Very rarely get messages as to how good a car is from people. I got that message, how good his car was in practice. And I bet him. I bet Denny at 12-1. I thought that based on practice lap times, he was in the long run a rocket. Um, I think Denny was kind of bummed out last night about not having slicks on the tires or slick tires on. Um, I don't know. I know he's starting ninth and it's not ideal, but man, if all of a sudden you think about how once there's cars that all of a sudden after 40 laps come alive, it's usually the 11 or it's the 4. Those are the guys that really, really do well. Um, I think Denny could win this race. I just last night I listened to his radio and it seemed like nobody even really cared that he was like he didn't even care that he wasn't good. Like, we're fine. We're fine. I think that their car is where they need it to be. How do they look after 50, 60 laps will be really important. I think you'll see that 11 car moving to the front. That's my favorite outright bet is Denny Hamlin. Um, yeah, it does concern me a little bit that Brad wasn't good on slicks, but then again, it's such a short race. Like, if if guys that were good yesterday, they were the guys that obviously had good track position, got up to the lead, and then could kinda conserve their stuff and had clean air. And it's like, good luck trying to pass me. And then the other people trying to conserve tires for a long run, and then all of a sudden there's a caution for whatever reason, rain, and then they threw on tires. So it was like 2 really short runs. We're gonna see way longer runs. We don't even know what these guys have, essentially, in my opinion. So Yeah, I don't think Brad at 28 to 1. I don't know what Brad is now. He's probably not 28 to 1, but I like Denny. Bubba, man, Bubba really stuck it to me with that staying out in the truck race. So I'm a little bitter towards that, but I had Corey Heim over him, kind of winning all day there. Bummer, but Bubba would look decent in practice. Like, can he just keep it together? Um, I just I don't know. Bubba, it wouldn't shock me if he was it would shock me more if he was really good versus really bad, if I could characterize it that way. That would be the best way. But he was decent in practice. I do have to give him some props there. He ran a long run early in practice and looked about as good as anybody early, in that first run. Now the changes they made, I do not think that they were as good as some other guys after they made changes, but the first run was really good. Ryan Blaney, I know that he was up there on all sorts of the lap averages, but I don't know. I just don't trust Blaney at tracks like this. Like, he just when things start to wear out, so does his ability. Like, he just kinda goes away. I anticipate more of that. I would be shocked if he was able to drive up through the field. If he somehow gets some track position, gets a late restart, maybe he could hang on for 15 laps, but if it's anything over 30 laps, I'm not a big Blaney fan. Truex unloaded pretty decent. I thought that he was not bad for he's not bad, I guess. I don't think he's got a race winning car today. I think that everyone has this JGR thing, but I think the JGR thing is pretty specific to just Benny and Chris Bell. I think that's why JGR is fast. Um, Not a big Truex guy. Chase Elliott, I mean, he wasn't great last night. And I don't know, all right in practice. He's a guy that kinda hangs around and picks up spots. I don't think he's gonna win. Kyle Busch was decent in practice, like, probably like a top 6 car in practice, but yesterday, it's almost like they didn't care. Does anybody have any information on that? Was anybody listening to Kyle's radio or heard anything about what Kyle had to say about last night? Because it's almost like he didn't care. He was just riding around in the back. That's what it seemed like. Hmm. Yeah, Denny top 5, I like that. That gives you some optionality there. I do, Connor. I think that that's a good bet. I like Denny top 5. Yep. I think that's a good bet. Um, because let's think about this. I don't think Logano and Austin Dillon finish in the top 5, right? So, I think that they're gonna work their way out of the top 5. So then Denny's gotta and I don't even man, Suarez, is he finishing in the top 5? Um, does Busher? I mean, I think I like Busher more than I like Suarez. I like Denny. I think Connor, I would say that I'm not gonna play it. I just have Denny outright at 12, but I do think that that is the best option, for Denny at that plus 145 price for a top 5. I do like that. Um, Hang on, let's see, where are we? Kyle Busch, yeah. Geez, I don't know, man. He just wasn't good. I mean, I'd love to have him because I feel like his price is there, but dude, they did not look good. And it's not I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Kyle. All right, some frustration on KB radio. Understood. Yeah, I mean, they look bad. I wonder, well, what about that, like, so, Connor, I don't know, Denny's plus 225 top 3. Maybe look at those top 3 prices. I think maybe that might be a little bit more rewarding as well, um, if you're interested in more Denny stuff. So, Kyle Busch, I don't know, I think he's man, but the price is there, 18 to 1. Kyle Busch, short track, you'd think that he could horse his way around there, especially after 50, 60 laps. He might be really good, but we don't know. We don't know. Kevin Harvick, man, he looked good in practice. Really good in practice. So, his price has actually come down, and he did not run well last night, and his price has come down. So, I do have some Harvick at, I think, 16 to 1. Both of these are small. I think half unit plays on both Harvick, and I have a little bit more, I guess, on Denny. They're almost full units, but, um, I think Harvick, this is just screams Kevin Harvick to me, in my opinion. So, I I don't know. Does he I can't imagine him just rocketing up through the field. That's gonna be those things where after 30, 40 laps, someone looks good. Um, I think that I like Kevin Harvick. Kyle Larson, I mean, I don't know. I bet on him and he wrecks. I bet against him. Well, I don't never bet against Larson. That's just he's kind of like a no fade guy unless he looks really bad. But man, he could win. You get the price. I don't know. Starting deep. It ain't gonna be like passing in the trucks. That's for sure. But who knows if a cooler track and nighttime conditions suit that 5 car, he could pass a lot of cars real fast. Whereas Harvick might need 25 or 30 laps. I do not see Kevin Harvick just blowing by Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., and Ryan Blaney. I would not be surprised if Kyle Larson blew by him, and I think that, he was 12-1 before yesterday's, heats, and now he's 10-1. I mean, Kyle Larson at 10-1, you almost gotta take him everywhere, right? I have nothing on him. Austin Cindric, I think he's gonna fade. I think that it's him and Eric Jones and Ricky Stenhouse will be battling this thing out for the who finishes last. I imagine if it stays long, green flag runs, it'll be Cindric. Um, I don't think he's gonna be good. I mean, they haven't matched up properly against Eric Jones, who's also pretty bad as well. So I'd agree. I'm in agreement there. Um, Ricky Stenhouse, or excuse me, Ross Chastain. Man, Ross yesterday, whoa, brutal as well. Like, I mean, and he practiced really well, and then he ran the truck race, and he still struggled. Like, man, is that what does that mean? Like, he looked good in practice, and then all of a sudden in the heats, he was bad. You're getting a price on him, that's for sure. I mean, that's the best price you're gonna see him. He's 20-1. But can he win from 17th? If there's no passing, he can't. Like, you can't win on strategy here. Like, a strategy call here is short pitting and then maintaining your track position, or if your car's really good on the long run, you'll stay out a long period of time, and the cars that short pit will not gain as much on you when they pit because you are so good on the long run, you don't have as much fall off, and then you pit 8 or 10 laps later, and then you got 8 to 10 lap fresher tires, and you're going for the win. You're super aggressive. So I do like that strategy more than short pitting and trying to maintain track position. I think that tires fall off so much. If you can wait an extra 6, 7, 8 laps because your car doesn't fall off quite as much, you're going to see the benefit of that on the backside of the tire run or stint, I guess you could say. And I like that strategy. The guys that can really hang on and stay out an extra few laps, they're going to have, you know, maybe 6, 7 laps extra fresher tires. And I think those guys will be racing for the win. If I can go back and reference a race, it would be last year's Richmond race in the fall. If Kevin Harvick, if that race goes one more lap or even half a lap, Chris Bell wins that race because he waited so much longer. He was really good on the long run. He pitted, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 laps after Kevin Harvick, and he was coming fast. And so I think that's the strategy that wins the race if it stays green. Now, if it doesn't stay green, I mean, when do you pit and take tires? Let me finish this real quick because I got to rant for a second. Ross Chastain, I think he'd be good. I mean, you're getting Ross at 20-1. If someone said, "Hey, I think it's a good bet," I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, you're getting Ross Chastain. If anyone can bully their way through there, it's him. Let's be honest. Ricky Stenhouse is gonna be trash. Tyler Reddick, I was kind of shocked at how like his performance. Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, I think he was good in practice, but man, you got a long way to make up. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So, um, there's some value there, but if there's no passing, like he could go a lap down pretty quick. So, I think you definitely want to make sure you get paid if you take Tyler Reddick. Now, if you guys have questions, you can start asking any questions. But I want to address this one. You can strap on tires one time in the final 100. When do you do that? I mean, when are you guys doing that? When are you putting tires on? If you, let's just say it goes 30 laps in caution, are you putting on tires? I mean, someone's going to stay out for $1,000,000. Someone's going to stay out, hope they run another 20, and then put their tires on. What if there's a caution with 40 to go? everyone goes down and takes tires, 2 guys stay out. And then they run 10 laps, now there's 30 to go, and these guys are coming from 20th on, you know, 15 or 20 lap fresher tires. I don't know. This is gonna be interesting. I think you'll see if I can recall a race, it would have been last year, Fontana, the Xfinity race, Anthony Alfredo kept his last set for a caution with, like, 8 to go or something like that. Um, I think you could see something like that where someone just keeps tires, and if there's a caution with 20 to go, I don't care who you are. If you are in this all-star race and you have fresh tires, if you have 20 lap fresher tires or 30 lap fresher tires, I mean, you in theory, you should be able to mow them down, and if you get another caution, it's over. So, and cautions breed caution, so I just really hard to predict. I can tell you this, lot from a live perspective, you better have the guy that has an extra set sitting there on guard once they go green. Does that make sense? So that way, if there is, for whatever reason, there's a caution, everyone wants it to stay green, right? Stay green. But if let's just say Bubba Wallace is sitting with a set of tires, bet him. He's gonna drop like a rock, and you might get him at 15 or 20 to 1, but if there's a caution and he's got the only fresh set of tires, I mean, he's gonna be coming fast. So, that would be my advice from a live betting standpoint. Um, but I don't know, I think this'll be fun to watch. I'm excited to see how the race plays out, but like I said, I don't have anything I'm not super high on, one side or the other. I mean, like I said, I do have Hamlin. I have Hamlin and Harvick for almost a unit, and then I have a little bit of Chastain. I think I got him at 18, and now he's 20. So it goes to show you what I know. And I just thought that I'm just betting a guy that I think could get it done. Those are the only 3 bets I have. Nothing gonna break me one way or the other. I'm gonna plan on doing some live betting and looking for some guys just over the long run that are a couple tenths faster lap, and that will be my advice. Yeah, add some Bell, but I think I'll be able to get Bell live. That's what I think. That's what I think. I think I'll be able to get some Bell live, and trust me, I know he's gonna be good. So, it's just a matter of if there's no passing, it doesn't matter. Like, if there's no passing, someone in the top 6 is gonna win this race, and preferably people that start on the inside would be would be my guess. But I do not think Suarez and Busch and Logano, I mean, or Austin Dillon, I don't think those guys are any of them are that good. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see it. Um, any questions, anybody, about anything? And next week, if anyone's gonna be at Charlotte, let me know. Shoot me a message. I'll be there all week. I'm getting into town tomorrow. So if anyone's going to the race, let me know. We'll grab a beer, hang out, talk some NASCAR betting, and hopefully get a winner. The 600 is a tough race to bet. I mean, it's almost like betting, you have practice, but then you have just a marathon. So really, really difficult to kind of predict who's gonna be good. Yeah, next week. Yeah, the chrome horn will be used tonight. I hope so. I certainly hope so. Oh, Hunter, you'll be there? Awesome. We'll meet up for sure. Um, yeah, I think that hopefully guys are I hope guys are willing to move because yesterday Logano was holding up the entire field. Um, and I hope that everyone, if it's hard to pass, just get the hell out of the way. Like, let's go. So, all right, everybody, let's take one last collective think here. Good luck. Cheers. Taking a pull. Go Denny and Kevin Harvick. That'd be awesome.